women who could take on the role of a character that's written by someone and do a great job. It's, it's somehow part of you remains you, but another part of you have to step outside yourself and enter the world of the writer and the creator.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Mm.
There were so many interesting stories in your book also, Pat, in the city. Talk to me about, there was an employee when you had your store on 8th Street that I guess was rude to, I mean, your employees did speak out when they didn't necessarily approve of the way someone was dressed.
They all thought they were stars. And I guess they were.
They all thought they were stars. They had no problem telling someone what they thought of them.
Right.
Is this true? Someone, I guess Beyonce came into your store and one of your employees was rude to her or didn't really?
Yes, that's true. And I read about it in a magazine. I don't know, I was somewhere and I was looking at this magazine and there was this story about Beyonce and her mom and, her little group.
Blue Ivy.
Yeah. Come to my store. And I read in a magazine that they were in the store and the person who was taking care of them was very rude. And I went crazy. Imagine to read something like that in a magazine about, your baby. And anyway, I jumped in my car. They were down in New Jersey at the Performing Arts Center down South Jersey. And I went there and I apologized to them because they used to come in and, it was never, but this person I had hired, mistake. He was new and he thought he was like something. I don't know why, because he was in my store and he was like fabulous or who knows. But anyway, yeah, I jumped in my car and I went there and I was like, please forgive this. I knew nothing about it. I read it in a magazine and I just wanted to come and let you know that I know about it. It's my apologies, whatever.
Wow.
They were always great. They used to come in the store early on, and I was always happy to see them. The mom always came with them. They were young kids then.
Tina. So you drove all the way to New Jersey, went in, you said, I'm so sorry. What did Beyonce say to that when you're standing there from far away in New York City? I mean, it's still a good hour and a half to get all the way down there.
Yeah. Well, they were, of course they said, oh, you shouldn't have done this, come all the way here. But I'm glad I did it because that was a relationship that was ongoing. And this guy was like, I guess he thought he was like fabulous and he could throw out, it was in the early days of the girls, Beyonce and Rihanna.
Kelly Rowland. Rihanna's separate. She's not.
Oh yeah, that was after.
Yeah.
She was after. And is this true too, that JFK came in with Daryl Hannah and I guess he was rude to some of the trans workers? I read that in a magazine too. JFK Jr. Yeah.
Because I used to like the daddy. I was a kid then. Yeah. He was saying something very not nice. I can't remember right. I think I wrote it in the Freaks.
Yeah.
Freaks.
Yeah, you talk about it in your documentary.
I go, ouch.
Right.
It's, I come from I'll call it a working class family. My parents, they were in the dry cleaning business and whatever. And I think it's better for your health to grow up in a more realistic way than in some elevated way that you think you're, something special when you're too little to understand all that. You know, I see that in a lot of, in people who are born, with a gold cup.
Right.
They're spoiled.
You never learn the way the real world works, right? And then you go
Yeah.
out into the real world and no one's going to put up with that, right?
No. I mean, my mom, she was a working woman. She had a business. I grew up that way. That's what I picked up from my mom. People pick up from where they come from. It's not their fault, but it's not pretty.
No, there's no excuse for it, right?
No.
What about someone, there's so many, like we said, celebrities that you worked with that come into your store. Do you ever get starstruck? I mean, are you the type? Like, there's so much.
That's an interesting question. Nobody's ever. You know what? I don't get starstruck, but I'm not the starstruck type. To me, if you come into my shop, you get the same treatment no matter who you are. And half the time anyway, I don't know who's who. I'm busy doing my thing. Many times people will say, oh, you know who that is? I'll go, no. And, we're all doing what's important to us. And I think that's a healthier way to be instead of, looking around and seeing,
I think so. I mean, everyone's just a human being if you talk to them one-on-one, right?
Totally. Well, sometimes they put on airs one-to-one, but everybody's their own person. They have to live with themselves.
What about when you look at someone like larger than life now, like a Taylor Swift? Would you like to get your hands on her and give her the Patricia Field makeover?
Honey, Taylor Swift does not need me. She's amazing. I can't believe. I mean, I still don't understand because, I've known different big performers and so on in my life. And I'm like, I don't know. It's so like, I don't remember any craziness like this Taylor Swift phenomenon. And I just think maybe it's the time that we're in where life is kind of like, let's say, it's not like this. It's more, and I think young people are more, they're, how could I put it? They're more impressed. It's with things than if you live them. I mean, in my lifetime, it was like, okay, let's go Studio 54 up in the powder room, sitting with Halston, chit-chatting with, it was a normal way of life. It wasn't, it was what you did. And today, I think there are limitations on that freedom, unfortunately. I mean, I was lucky, aside from the fact of the time that I was in my youth, was also from my family. My mom, she was an independent business person. That is unusual. She had, a successful business. I used to tell her, Mom, let's buy a brownstone. And she said, oh, they're too expensive. I said, why? How much do they cost? And I said, oh, I bet you they cost about $40,000. And it's like,
that's a good way of putting it. No, I mean, I agree with you. I've never seen anything as big as Taylor Swift either. I don't really, it's like, like growing up for me, it was probably Madonna, or Michael Jackson. But I have a friend.
But even so,
This is way bigger.